So this morning we'll be discussing finances. A lot of you have been having financial related questions so far, and so we are excited to answer those today. We will also be hearing from our deans of discipline, and they will be speaking to you about our dress code and, of course, the code of conduct. So I will hand over to our presenters this morning. We will take the deans of discipline first, and then we will jump into the financial presentations. Of course, we will also do our Q&A at the end. So we'll take both presentations and then we will have the Q&A at the end. All right, so Damien, over to you.
Let me just go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Damien Ellis, and I am a member of the Deans of Discipline team. The other members are joining me today online, and they will be actively in the chat, ready to answer your questions and query as we go through. And of course, there will be a question and answer section after the presentation. So let me just pull up the presentation to share my screen. So our objective today is to educate our new students on the CMU's Code of Conduct and Grooming Guidelines. We want to ensure that you have an understanding of the standards of the behavior, appearance, professionalism, and that we expect within the academic community. We want to promote a culture of discipline, respect, and personal responsibility. All right, so for our Code of Conduct, this is just some excerpts from the Code of Conduct. The entire document is available in your student handbook. You are encouraged to go ahead and revise same. You can find the Code of Conduct in Chapter 6 of your handbook. For the Deans of Discipline, the two areas of the sections of the handbook, or chapters rather, that I'm going to implore you to review and to make sure you understand well are chapters 3 and chapter 6. Those cover your rights and responsibilities as students and the code of conduct that you are expected to adhere to. So the code of conduct. The student's code of conduct aims to encourage respect, integrity, and good behavior among our students here at the CMU. It also intends to uphold the name and reputation of the university by maintaining order, discipline, safety, and security. Any conduct of a student which contravenes this code and or negatively impacts the university may be regarded as a misconduct and subject to disciplinary measures. So what is a misconduct? A misconduct is conduct or behavior that is deemed inappropriate by the university. Categories of misconducts here at the CMU are 3 tiers. We have the minor misconducts, major misconducts, and gross misconducts. Just to go into minor misconducts a little bit, someone's mic is on. Could you please mute for me? Thank you. So minor misconducts. These are a few that we pulled. So these are inclusive, but it's not limited to these 2 that we will be mentioning today. So we have a non-compliance or observance with the university's dress code, disruption of legitimate university activities by playing unauthorized music, horse playing, and or other means of disruption thereof. Major misconduct. Major misconducts include but are not limited to the following. 3, persistent commission of minor misconducts is considered to be a major misconduct. Getting a major misconduct refers you directly to the disciplinary committee, where you will be sanctioned for the offense when you are found guilty. Up next, commission at any statutory or common law crime on or off the premises of this university while wearing the school uniform and or representing the university. Gross misconducts. Gross misconduct shall include, but are not limited to, physical assault, fighting or battery of any individual on the university premises, stealing university property. So when you are taken to the disciplinary board for committing any of these offenses, namely major or gross misconducts, upon facing the committee, sanctions may be applied when will be applied when you're found guilty. So some of these sanctions include, but are not limited to, suspension, fines, community service, withdrawal from the university representation, or students' union representation. Expulsion is another one as well. So the uniform guide is here to give you some indicators. So this is an infographic of what your uniform should look like, right? So starting on the left, I'll start with the females. Your hair must be of a natural hair color, right? So that means you can go and do a gray if you like. You can do a blonde, you can do a ginger. The only color outside of natural hair colors that are allowed for females is burgundy. And that is because that is a color of the groupings that the CMU embodies for their logo and the school colors. For your hair, any hair dress, accessories that you want to wear, it should be black. So let me repeat that. You're only permitted to wear black accessories for your hair, right? For earrings, you are allowed a maximum of 2 in each earlobe. Your lobe is this section right here, right? There should be none in your upper lobe, your helix, upper helix, or inner helix, right? Any actions contrary to what I'm mentioning in these, well, throughout this presentation is considered an offense and is liable to sanction while in your uniform. So please pay attention. So why, if you want to wear 2 earrings, you are allowed to wear 1 hoop or loop and a knob. You can wear 2 knobs, but you are not allowed to wear 2 hoops. You have earrings that has a lot of what we would say fangandangles or designs to them hanging around. We do not encourage you wearing those in your uniform. Moving down to your epaulets. Your epaulets should be affixed to your uniform, buttoned down, like you see in this image, right? Your insignia should be placed on your top right pocket, 1 inch above. Your name tags should be on the right, directly above the breast pocket. Your shirts must also be tucked in at all times in your pants or skirt. Your belt, which is provided when you purchase your uniform accessories, it should always be locked in place and properly. Excuse me. So your belt must always be locked in place properly on your person, right? Your ID must always be on display attached to your belt on your left side, right? As females, if you choose to wear a skirt, the skirt length should be at the center of your knee or 2 inches below. Any deviation to this is an offense and liable to sanctions. So when you go in to fit your uniforms, I recommend you go for the 2 inches below, because I get excuses all the time that I have grown, sir, and now my skirt is short. It's now falling above my knee. And regardless of your financial standing, it is a sanctionable offense and you have to get it corrected, right? So go for 2 inches below so we avoid those situations. You can choose to wear a stocking if you so choose. We do encourage that you wear same. For your shoes, you are required to wear a black shoe at all times. If the need arises for you to deviate, a permission must be asked, and it has to be granted for you to legally wear the uniform on the compound without the required shoe. The shoe must not be rather a sneaker. So you're not allowed to wear sneakers. So your favorite Nike, your favorite Puma, Adidas, Jordans, whatever the case may be, you're not allowed to wear those in the uniform, right? Moving on to the males. For males, your hair is supposed to be of its natural color at all times. That means if your hair is naturally black, that is the color you keep. You are not allowed to add any colors, no bleaching. Once you do so, it's a sanctionable offense. The hair must be free from markings, carvings, designs, any of those. Let me mention your eyebrows. It's not in this guide, but there should be no cuts or carvings in your eyebrows. Your epaulets and the rest, your epaulets should be properly affixed to your shoulders as indicated in this image. Insignia and name tag, as I mentioned earlier for the female, the same applies. Your shirt must always be tucked in and your belt properly locked in place. Your ID, just the same, must be on your left side, secured to your belt. For your pants, you are allowed a 2-inch leg room, that is 1 inch on each side or each seams of your pants. For your shoes and your socks, they must always be black. You are not allowed to wear sneakers in your uniform. No Crocs, no sneakers. All right, moving on. For females, the screen is not updating here. You are not allowed to wear nose rings in your uniforms. You're not allowed to have any facial piercings of any type, smileys of any type or design. Here we go, the update. You're not allowed to wear necklaces in your uniform, bracelets in your uniform, nor anklets. Your hair length should not exceed your upper pelvic area, that is your waist. And as I mentioned earlier, black accessories alone are allowed in your uniform. We also encourage you, well, it is mandatory that you wear your hair towards the back, where it's not covering your epaulets or covering your face. Brightly colored nails, such as green, yellow, purple, etc., as being displayed here, they are prohibited. Go for a more moderate design, right? As being displayed here. It doesn't have to be this exact design type that is being displayed, but you get the idea. Mention the male pants. So for males, your hair must be properly groomed at all times. Hair must be clean, no dirt must be visible. Hair must be in its natural color, as mentioned earlier. No accessories, carvings in the eyebrow or scalp. Those are prohibited. Your hair must not be falling over your face or around your ears. Your hair, as males, must not obscure your epaulette, name tags, or insignias, because we do have Rastafarians here on the compound. Irregular haircut. Your hair must be neatly groomed at all times. So these images that you're seeing being displayed, these are examples of what we look for and what we encourage you to model while in the uniform. If you choose to go with a afro, right, or a high taper fade, it must be neatly groomed at all times, and it must not be taller than be more than 2 inches in height. Your hair must not include any type of coloring or accessories. Sponging is an issue as well. You are not supposed to sponge your hair, right? So as the images here are being shown, sponging is prohibited. If you choose to go with a high taper fade and you meet the 2 inches requirements, it should always be combed out. Cornrows, neatly groomed at all times. Cornrow towards the back. No hair should be falling over your ears or face. If you go for a lock or a twist, the hair must be neatly groomed and it must appear fresh and neat, pulled back to the back of the head, and the hair not long enough to be fastened to the back, should not fall over your face. Also, do not plait or plait your hair. That is not an allowed hairstyle. Let me repeat, do not plait or plait your hair. You can lock it, you can twist it, but do not plait your hair. That is not an allowed hairstyle. That's prohibited. For Rastafarians, it's pretty straightforward. You keep your hairs pulled to the back at all time and fastened. We realize that here on campus, the rooms are AC'd, and quite often students complain that they are cold. So we understand the need to wear a sweater or a cardigan to get some level of comfort while you're in your classrooms. But be informed. Your sweaters are limited to your classrooms only. Whilst moving around the campus, you are not to be caught wearing your sweater or cardigans. Do not wear sweaters or cardigans around the campus unless there is an inclement weather condition, meaning rain or so. You are prohibited from wearing that sweater, cardigan around the campus. It must always be of an open front design whichever you choose. Open front. There should be no markings, no visible markings, no expletives, no freedom of expression speeches, nothing offensive. It should be plain, all right? And as I said, these are limited to your classrooms. The approved colors are black, burgundy, blue, and gray. So here is a accessory cost list for your information. Yesterday, we realized that a lot of questions were in the chat regarding the cost of uniform accessories. So this is a cost breakdown. The entire package is for $6,100. However, as new students, when you pay your auxiliary fee, the cost for your name tag is covered. So you would only need to pay for the other items on this list separate. This concludes my presentation with you this morning. All right, I'm hoping everything came through clear for you. I know you will have some questions. So over to you, Bobby. Sorry, Miss Smith.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ellis. All right, students, that was our presentation from our Deans of Discipline. I want you to write down your questions, keep them. If you want, you can put them in the chat, or other deans and members of the OSA team are in the chat and they are responding. I want to take the next presentation now, which is the financial presentation, and then we will have the general Q&A at the end. So if you are so inclined, you can put your questions in the chat. We are still there answering your questions. However, we will do the big Q&A at the end of the sessions. All right, over to you, Mrs. Nemhard.
Sorry, morning again, everyone. First of all, I would like to welcome you to the university, and I know you would have a very good time here. So let us begin our presentation on the Treasury Department. All right, so we would have already went through registration criteria when we were doing the first presentation, but let's just do a quick recap. So to be registered at the CMU, you would have to be pre-registered, and of course you have to get financial clearance. So even if you're pre-registered, until you receive financial clearance, you're technically not registered with the university. All right, so what does financial clearance offer you while you're at the university? So first, it offers you to go to classes, both face-to-face and e-learning platform, that is the Moodle platform. Secondly, it would allow you to submit your coursework through the Moodle platform. It allows you to also write exams, that's mid-semester and finals. If you do not have financial clearance, then you will be barred from all exams, and you will also be barred from submitting any coursework. It allows you access to your library materials. It also allows you access to registry documents. These are your letters, your transcript, your status letter, anything of that sort. You have to be fully cleared to get access to those documents. You also get your identification card, your health card. All right, so let's quickly go through the type of financial clearance. So we have two types of financial clearance. So the first one is conditional clearance. So the university, we do have an approved payment plan. Once you keep in line with this approved payment plan, then you get conditional clearance. Once you're in line, the conditional clearance is automatic. So you don't have to message us and ask us for clearance unless you're not seeing it while you're in line with the plan. Even though you have conditional clearance, however, you will not be able to get any registry documents except if it's a status letter for either loan purposes to pay your tuition, So that's SLB personal loan or for scholarship opportunities. So now we have full clearance. So these are for the students who would have paid both their auxiliary fees and tuition. You can pay your tuition per semester and get full clearance, or you can pay your tuition for the entire year and you will receive full clearance. All right, so it is very important to note that while you do have conditional clearance, your clearance can change if you deviate from the payment plan. And we'll be going through the payment plan shortly. So say, for example, you would have been up to date September, you had a little tumble, and then you're unable to pay. The system will now put you on a clearance hold, which means that you will no longer have access to the resources that you would have had previously. All right, so let's go quickly through the payment plan. This will be emailed to you. We also have a very comprehensive sheet that my team would have put together. This will be available to you through registration. It will be sent to your email as well, and it will be available during orientation. All right, so for full-time students for semester 1, if you're doing the university's payment plan, 20% of your tuition is due August 31st, as well as your full auxiliary fees. You do not have payment plans for auxiliary fees. September 30th, you would have to pay another 15%. October 31st, you'll pay 10%, and November 30, the remaining 5%. So this would cover 50% of your tuition in semester 1. In semester 2, you will only be required to pay the 20% December 31st. You would have to pay your full tuition your full auxiliary fee in August. Then January, you would have to pay 15%, 10%, and 5% in February and March, respectively. So this payment plan is for our full-time students. So now for our part-time students, semester 1, August, you'll have to pay your 10% plus your auxiliary fee. September, another 10%, October 10%, and November 5%. So this covers 35% of your overall tuition. In semester 2, it translates the same. So you'd have to pay 10% in December, January, and February, and the remaining 5% in March. And this would cover 70% of your tuition in semester 1 and 2. So the remaining 30% now is broken up in 10% in May, June, and July. All right, so let's talk about our SLB students. We know that SLB does not cover auxiliary fees, so the auxiliary fees will have to be paid out of pocket by the students. We encourage that if you're having any issues with the auxiliary fee, please come in and talk to us early so that we can see if there's anything that can be done to facilitate you. Also, we ask the students to ensure that you pay attention to the cutoff times as it relates to SLB, and that you start the process early. This is very important, as it is now the university has a policy that unless we receive disbursement of your funds from the Student Loan Bureau, then we won't be able to give you any clearance. So unless the funds are disbursed to the university, you won't be able to get any clearance from the university to do any of your exams. All right, so scholarships and grants. So if we have a lot of students who receive full scholarships and they aren't aware that the auxiliary fees aren't covered, so we ask that you please check your letters to ensure that if you receive a full scholarship, your auxiliary fees are covered. If they're not covered, you'd have to cover your auxiliary fees out of pocket to be able to receive the clearance. Once you get a scholarship, we ask that you encourage the donor to send us the commitment letter so that we can arrange the appropriate clearances. So send the letter to us, send the letter to registry so that we can get the appropriate clearances going. All right, so as it relates to CMU boarding and accommodation. So the plan that we currently have now is that if you're doing accommodation with the campus, you'll be required to pay 50% of your boarding fees, as well as your full caution fee and your full internet fee in semester 1. For semester 2, you must pay the remaining 50%. Of course, You can pay the full 100% of your boarding fee in semester 1, along with your caution fee and your internet fee. So now let's talk about some of our payment methods. So we offer a variety of payment methods, but our preferred payment method is that you make payment through Paymaster and Bill Express. You can make payment online or any of their branches. You don't have to send us any receipt when you're making these payments, but we do encourage that you keep a copy of your receipt. We also have a in-house cashier. We are trying to cut back on collecting cash. We do collect cash if you come with it, but we encourage students to, if you have the cash, make it at your closest Paymaster Bill Express outlet. And that's because we have had instances in the past where students are coming to campus with cash and unfortunate things happened where they would have been robbed or they lose the money, and we're trying to avoid that totally. We do accept manager's check at the cashier, no personal checks, and we accept credit and debit cards. We also accept NCB or any bank online transfer. If you do a transfer, however, please send us an email with a copy of the receipt as well as your name and your ID number so that we can apply it to your account. Even if you're unable to send this when you're making the payment, most banks, it allows you to put information in the notes. Ensure that you put your name and your ID number, unless you won't be able to tell who the money is coming from. It's very important. All right, so some of the challenges that we've been having with payments is that, as I mentioned before, unless you put the information when you're doing the transfer, we won't be able to tell who the money is coming from, so we won't be able to apply it appropriately to your account. Please do not make any payments at any ATM machine. It doesn't come to our account. We also do accept payments through other institutions. Say, for example, if you're sending from a Scotia Bank or a JMB to our bank account, we do accept that. Ensure that you put in information, and also ensure that you send us a copy. It's important to note as well that when we're going through these institutions, sometimes it takes a little bit longer for the money to be reflected on your account because you have to confirm the money is being received on our end first. So this is just some general information for the students. So all tuition fees and financial information is on our website. Anything you need is on our website. If you have any questions, you can email us at accounts@cmu.edu.jm and we will be able to assist. You can also view your statements through the SRS. So if you make a payment and you're not seeing it reflected after a couple of days, you can come in and talk to us, send us an email, send us a copy of the receipt, and we can apply the payment to your account. Because sometimes when you send the payments and we don't know which account to put it to, we'll have the money in holding until you're able to provide a copy of the receipt. All right, so these are some important treasury contacts. This presentation will be shared. I will put it up on the screen so you have a moment to do your little screenshot or anything you need to do, because when you email us, I want you to get a quick response, and we have certain persons who deal with certain sections. So if you email these persons directly, you'd get a response quicker. So you can take a moment, take your screenshots, and we'll be moving along. All right, so the Treasury's email is accounts@cmu.edu.jm, and we also have bursary@cmu.edu.jm. So if you have any questions, any concerns, reach out to us. If you're having issues making payments, reach out to us from early, because if you reach out to us the day of exams, it's just a little bit too late to assist. All right, so that is the end of our presentation. I want to show you quickly what our payment options would look like. So this will be sent to your email. It gives you a breakout of how much you would pay per semester and per payment. So say, for example, for the logistics students in August, this is your first total payment. It's just an example. This is your 15% fee, then your 10%, then your 5%. As I said, this would be shared with you, so you don't have to be doing any calculations or anything like that. All the information is presented. All right, and that is the end of our presentation.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Nimrod. Very comprehensive, very comprehensive. I know that there are questions in the chat that are being answered between the discipline team and the treasury team. So thank you so much for that. We are gonna go ahead and open the floor for questions now. So as per usual, you can raise your hand and you can type in the chat. All right. Malaysia Green, you can go ahead with your question.
Good morning. My first question is, how much is the boarding fee?
Okay, so the boarding fee for double occupancy is 266,595. For triple, it's 206 010, and then for quadruple it is 169,680. The caution fee is 16,590, and the internet fee is also 16,590. So I will just put this information in the chat so you're able to see it better.
Is that price for the year?
Yes, it is.
Okay. My next question is, how much is the auxiliary fee?
So the auxiliary fee varies per program. What's your program? Which faculty are you in?
Engineering and applied technology.
So for engineering, it is 61,110.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you so much. Balicia Bernard, you can go ahead with your question.
Hello, good morning. So in regards to the commitment fee, right? Does it apply to the auxiliary fee? Seeing that I'm
Yes,
going
it's
through
applied to the
SLB.
auxiliary fee.
Okay. And then I also want to confirm, what if I decide to like travel? This is not a financial question, but what if I decide to travel? Can I take my classes online? Because I know that like certain platforms have like geographic constraints. So can I still take my classes if I decide to travel? I'm doing part-time.
All right, so the part-time classes are online. So if you are traveling, then you would have to transfer to the part-time option, and then that will be available for you.
Okay. All right. But that's basically it. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much. Dean Ellis, your hand is up, so I'm gonna allow you to go and then I take the other questions.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. I just wanted to bring some clarity to something I mentioned earlier. I would have stated that the name tags are covered in the auxiliary fee. I want to state that that was a statement that was incorrect, right? It is not covered, only your IDs are covered, all right? So just to be clear, only your IDs are covered in your auxiliary fee. Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Just to add on what I said a while ago regarding change it to part-time, right? Remember that even though the part-time option is online, the exams are done face-to-face. So where classes are concerned, it's online, but exams is face-to-face.
All right, thank you, Sir Ellis and Mr. Marriott. Colin Anderson, you can go ahead with your question.
Yeah, good morning. My question is, what if I should get a scholarship and like I'm on part and I get the part grant and the amount of money exceeds my tuition fee? Will the amount, the extra amount be brought forward to year 2 tuition?
Yes, it would.
All right, thanks. That was my question.
All right, thank you so much. Adina Burrell, your hand is up. Your turn. Adina, if you're speaking, we're not hearing you. All right, going to move on. Ava Peters, you can go ahead with your question.
Morning, can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yes. My question is, right? I did a transfer for the non-refundable fee of 10,000 through Scotia, to your to the school's NCB account. I did send the receipt, but I noticed that I haven't received any type of confirmation. Should I have received a confirmation to say, hey, we've received your payment or something like that?
No, not necessarily. Did you check your student account to see if it's been reflected on SRS?
No, I asked a question to in the chat. How do I check that?
Quantan, you want to assist?
Morning, everyone. So to check your student account balance, once you're registered on the SRS, so you have completed registration, you would have gotten an email and a password to log in. On that website, you can, at the bottom of the page, there's a section that says balance statement. Once you click on that, you can track your balance, your tuition balance, all your payments from there. You can also print your statement, and it shows your tuition amount once you're registered, and it shows all your payments once they have been logged on your account.
I see. So I won't be able to see anything until I register because I'm not yet registered.
Correct. What you can do, you can resend that email, and I will respond. I will check and ensure that the payment is documented.
Okay, thank you. And just to confirm, I think Valicia Bernard had asked this question. It's that $10,000 will be deducted from that 52,000 auxiliary fee. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. No problem. Thank you. I'll resend the email. That's to the account, the one that was provided in the chat, right?
Yes. I will also retype the email so other persons can have it.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you so much, Treasure Team. Marvin Richardson, you can go ahead with your question. Marvin Richardson, if you're here, you can go ahead with your question. All right, moving on. Lacia Green, you can go ahead with your question.
Good morning again. I wanted to know what is the registration fee?
Hi, morning. So we do not have a registration fee. We have a commitment fee of 10,000, and the commitment fee is just telling the university that you're committed to start in September. So once you pay that 10,000, it is deducted from your auxiliary fee. So it reduces your auxiliary fee by 10,000.
Okay, also, is it possible for me to get the layout of the percentage for each semester?
Yes, it will be sent to your email.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you so much, team. Thank you so much to the Treasure Team and our Deans of Discipline for their presentations this morning. Thank you so much, students, for joining us. I hope the information that we shared will make your university experience a lot more seamless than it would have been without it. I also want to thank all of the team members who came out, who were answering questions in the chat. You are greatly appreciated. Please remember the sessions and the presentations will be shared with you sometime next week, so you can check your emails, look out for those links to the presentations as well as the sessions. All right. Thank you so much and do enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you. Have a great day.